Okay, so I am broadcasting from Buenos Dias. I'm broadcasting from Costa Rica. El Barrio is a little pueblo near the town of Llano Grande. And I asked Spirit why it brought me to Costa Rica. And Spirit said, because you've lost your passion and you're disconnected. That made me cry because it's true. Not passionate, not connected. So I'm here opening myself up, following my impulses, talking to Spirit, working on my shadow. And I've been plagued with fear recently. Now, this is a totally spiritual thing. There's a reason why I'm plagued with fear. It's part of my evolution. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Plagued with fear so I could come to the truth of who I am. So I'm here in El Barrio in Llano Grande, and I've got this egoic mind that is dissatisfied with everything. Okay, so I'm in this beautiful environment, and ego can only find things about which to complain. It's really pathetic. But, hey, it's fear, and it's a part of my evolutionary process, so I'm not even really wanting to judge it. I'm really wanting to understand it and bridge the connection within myself. Well, I've been having this fear that doesn't want me to go out of the house, right? So, of course, I have to get out of the house. So I go to my neighbor today, and my Spanish is really bad, and I don't really know where I am. I haven't done any research. So I go to my neighbor, and I say, hey, how do I take the bus? Really nice man walks me up to the bus stop, make sure that I have the right money, gets me, on the bus, and then tells me how to get home. And the people here in Costa Rica are really gems, so sweet and warm and kind. So, to find things to complain about here is really tough, but not unless you're this ego right here, then it's pretty easy to do. So, anyway, I get on the bus today and I go into Cartago. Actually, it's not even that. It's before I get on the bus. Before I do that, I'm talking to Spirit. Oh, and Spirit tells me that I'm here to work on, this disconnection. I take a detached view of life. It makes me come off as aloof, and I need to connect more and come back into living life. And I perceive the world really through my head instead of really feeling it through my heart and connecting with it. Okay, so that's the backstory. So I go to Cartago, into the city, and they have a major, it's considered a minor basilica, but it's quite big and beautiful, and there were a lot of people there. So I went to this basilica. I'm determined to go there and to learn something about this basilica and to start getting myself feeling again. And what better place to start than a church? Because if you walk into a beautiful church and you cannot feel the spirit of God in a church, then you're shut down. Now, it doesn't matter if you're religious or not, whether you're Christian or Catholic or whether you're Muslim. If you go into any holy place, you can feel the holiness. Now, I know this from experience because there was a time when I could walk into any holy place and be like, what? I'd walk into a mosque, I'd walk into a temple, I'd walk into, somebody's chanting room, and I'd be off the chain with all the energy. But not recently. I've been walking into churches and not feeling a thing, like cold and shut down, which obviously tells me that I'm shut down. So I go into this church and I'm observing myself and I'm saying, okay, yep, disconnected, not feeling anything. I'm walking around and I'm looking at the art, and I'm feeling like a tourist, and I'm like, okay, what does this mean? And what's that? And I'm like, this is wrong. There's a voice in me that's saying, you are not connected. You can't. And then, so I say, okay, I'm going to do one round. I'm going to look at all the art, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to sit myself down in one of these pews, and I'm going to see what happens. So I walked around, sat down in the pew, and nothing happened. I'm like, shit, I don't feel anything. So then I say, all right, well, I'm going to check check Wikipedia, learn about this church, and see if I can connect with this in an intellectual way. I read about it. Wikipedia had, 3 paragraphs about it. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling something open up inside me. So I'm like, wow, I'm connecting with the story. So the story of this church, it's called Basilica de La Mujer de Los Angeles, or I can't really remember. But the story is that there was a young girl out playing. This was back in 1600. There was a young girl out playing in Cartago, which is out there beyond the fog, or in the fog. And she finds a little statue of the Virgin Mary and Child. And so she takes the little statue home. She takes the statue home, and then she wakes up the next morning and the statue's gone. Oh, she found the statue on a rock. Next morning she wakes up, the statue's gone. She goes back to the rock, and there's the statue. So this time she takes it and she puts it with the priest, who locks it away in a cupboard. Next morning, priest comes in, the icon's not there, so goes back to the rock, and there it is. And they decide, all right, look, we're building a church right here. And that's how the church, or the basilica, got built. Well, beautifully, when I read that, my heart starts softening and I start opening up. So I'm like, oh man, I really am connecting. I do have a heart. I can feel. Wow. I can feel. I'm alive. So I sit there for a while with this, and my mind is totally like rejecting this idea. It does not want me to have this experience, okay? Mind is saying, no, you will not feel. You will think. You will not feel. So, I'm at my place, by the way. This is where I'm living. Really sweet spot. It's a cute little cabin. I need to go do laundry, though. That doesn't sound... Oh, shoot. I forgot to buy laundry detergent. Shoot. So, anyway, so I sit down and I start feeling the movement come on inside me, the feelings, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm feeling something, and then I find myself getting softer. Hola! I find myself getting softer and softer, and I start crying, yeah? And I'm crying for many different reasons. I'm crying because my ego is sad, because I'm crying because I feel sad that I've let myself be so cut off. I feel sad because I've been dominated by my ego. Oh my God, there are 500 dogs walking at me right now. Thank God for this fence. Thank God for the fence. Because it is crazy pants up in here with all those dogs. That is funny. So, right. So, I'm feeling very connected now all of a sudden. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my feelings. I'm feeling honesty. Tears are running down my face. I'm in church. I'm feeling nervous because there's so many people there. And at this basilica, there are people that are crawling down the aisle, going to the pulpit on their knees. right? And I'm looking at these people going, wow, that looks really hard to do. And I'm like, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? How strange to be doing that. So we're coming upon a bunch of cows. And aren't they cute? But we're turning around because this is not where I live. And actually, I don't really want to be walking all the way back uphill, to be honest with you. But say goodbye to the cows. And yeah, me walking back uphill is not going to be happening. I'm walking uphill, but it's a temporary thing. Do not feel like walking uphill. So, these people are walking down on their knees, and I know everybody who's Catholic knows what that's all about, but I didn't know what that was all about. And I said, fuck it. I'm getting on my knees, and I'm going to walk to this Madonna, this Madonna. She's known as La Negrita because she's got a brown hue to her skin. I'm totally into that, right? So I get on my knees and I crawl my ass up the aisle of that church, straight up to the pulpit. I go there, it hurts, I'm in tears, and I am praying. I am praying to God, like, you know what? I give it all up is what I was saying. I'm like, God, I get it. I know what. This is why I didn't want to be walking up this hill. I'm panting. Shit. So I'm saying, God, me and this ego, I let this ego dominate my life. I've let my life be ruled by fear and small-minded thinking and control and manipulation and money. Hunger has been the primary driving force of my energy, of my life, for as long as I can remember. And I said, God, I don't need it. You've shown me that everything that ego desires is not really life-affirming or fun. Why am I doing this? And the answer came. Now this is really interesting because when I first arrived here yesterday, I took a card from the Liquid Crystal Tarot. And the card I got was Amethyst. And the message for Amethyst was humility. And when I read the description, I really, really connected with it. I'm like, yeah, humility. I don't know what that is, but it feels right. Well, today, while I'm crawling on my knees, and it hurts so badly, and there's this golden light down. I'm crawling to this golden light of this Madonna, and I'm blown away by how humbling it is to be there, to have like your eye on beautiful golden light, and to have your knees aching in pain. And you got two choices. You can either identify with that pain in your knees, or you can identify fully with that golden light. And as I was identifying more and more with the light, the pain was intense, okay? It was hard, and I was slow, so it was like prolonged pain. Old people were scooting by me on their knees, like making me look like, I was 100 years old. So the point is, my ego really, I enjoyed having humility. I enjoyed crawling before the goddess. I did. And here's the reason why. Humility for me was not about making myself lower than the goddess. That's not what it was about, actually. What I did was I got rid of my ego, so there was no ego, and therefore I was in a natural space of humility. I've never known this about humility at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of spiritual teachers are, moving away from this idea of humility, like, you shouldn't lower yourself. But that's not what humility means. Humility is being egoless and being in your higher self, which means that you are on par with the goddess. You're on the same level as the goddess, but you're meeting her without judgment. You're meeting her without your shit. You're meeting her without competition. You're just in unconditional love, expressing God through yourself in that moment. That's what humility is. I never knew that. I thought that humility was about, uneven playing fields and not having money or not having anything. I had a really fucked up understanding of humility, and now I don't. So I'm all on humility. And I realized that walking on my knees, like having to be present with the pain, but doing that as a choice, like, hey, I'm getting ready to walk on my knees to greet the goddess. That's kind of a really powerful way of saying, I'm going to shed this ego. I'm shedding this ego. Every single step you take is a releasing of ego. And it's a setting free, setting yourself free, setting your soul free, setting your heart free, setting your mind free of ego's crap. All right. That's all I have to say. I feel really good right now. Oh, this was also quite funny. So I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling fearful. So I'm going to go find this bus, me and my broken Spanish. Nobody here speaks English, by the way. Like, nobody speaks English in these smaller towns. So I got to use my Spanish. So I went to go find the bus to get to Llano Grande. And I figured that out. Of course I did. Like, I'm a world traveler. I shouldn't have fear. But, okay, I'm going through the phase of having fear. I had the fear. Anyway, I confronted the fear, found the bus stop, confirmed it. And then this dude pulls up. Like, literally, I'm standing there for about 60 seconds, and this dude pulls up with 4 people in his car, and he says, hey, you going to Llano Grande? And I said, yeah. And he says, you can get a ride in my car for, 1,000 colones. And I said, I don't think so. And he says, yeah, it's 1,000 colones. We're all going to Llano Grande. And I looked at the people that were next to me, and I said, well, the bus is coming, the bus is coming at 4 o'clock. It's 3:55. He says, actually, the bus doesn't come till 4:30. And I looked at the people, and they're like, yeah, 4:30. And I said, okay, I'll get in this car. I boldly got my butt in that car. I was following my instinct. I felt safe as all get out. Got in that car. That guy was so friendly. That was a good ride. I got home in record-breaking time. I paid 50 cents for the ride, so I'm good. All right, I'm going to sign off now because my arm is getting so tired of holding this phone. But yeah, very happy about humility. All right, bye for now, friends. Bye.